everybody, and welcome back to Red Devils TV. Now, this is your Manchester United versus Barcelona match reaction first leg. And what a game it was. Realistically, I didn't think United would be playing like that. I thought that Barcelona would dominate us. I thought Barcelona would be the better team on the night, but really, that just proves of how much we've underestimated Erik ten Hag and his ability to pull out these type of games. Because for me, a game like this against Barcelona is probably one of Erik ten Hag's biggest tests this season at Manchester United, because realistically we're going up against one of the biggest teams in Europe, a team that's dominating their league, and a team that's just well structured. They've got a foundation going. They know how to play football. They're defensively solid. They've got world-class players in each and every position, and they're a tough team to break and beat down. But what happened? United proved that we are relentless. We're not the team we were 12 months ago. Even less than that, even about 10 months ago. United are top notch, and if we continue like this, we can go and win this Europa League. And I've said recently that I personally think that the Europa League isn't a priority for United, and I would sacrifice it. But realistically, if we can take out by Barcelona, and realistically, then that's one of the biggest threats gone, because before the draw even happened, Manchester United and Barcelona were predicted to be the winners before we even drew Barcelona. So it's a tough game that's happened, and I feel like United are going to overcome Barcelona at Old Trafford. I mean, the new camp was a brilliant atmosphere. You could see on the TV about how the stadium was. The Barcelona tweeted out that they sold over 90,000 tickets. So realistically, it was a packed event. It was box office. It was a brilliant match. And if you were a neutral and you watched that match, I can guarantee you couldn't have watched that match with a smile on your face, because it was a brilliant game of football. Marcus Rashford, he's just incredible. I mean, if he performs like this for the next 18 months, you could put him up for a contender for Ballon d'Or. And that might be getting a bit ahead of myself, because realistically, Rashford didn't have the best start to the season. But as it came up to the World Cup and after the World Cup, he's just been scoring and scoring and scoring. He's been utter world class. And at some point, there's going to be a game where Rashford doesn't score. But realistically, right now, it looks like he scores in every single match. Marcus Rashford is world class at the moment, and I'm just glad we've got him, because realistically, he's one of the best players in world football right now. Casemiro, I just want to speak about him real quick. I mean, you can tell we've missed him. Brilliant player. He was at fault for the second goal, in my opinion, and obviously just lost lost the ball, and it was a frustrating moment for Casemiro, and obviously for a player of his caliber and his recognition and stuff, like the type of player he is. That's a rookie mistake that he made, but you know, it's not all Casemiro's fault. Fred was absolutely abysmal today, and in part from when he got the assist for Marcus Rashford. But Fred, for me, he wasn't up for it tonight. But I'm going to go talk about my player ratings in a moment. But yeah, Barcelona, I mean, we saw how good of a team they were. It took them a while to get going in the first half of United. Obviously, we created a chance within the first 2 minutes, but Fred was literally just inches off the cross from Bruno Fernandes, and he just misses the ball, and it goes out for our Barcelona throw-in. But yeah, but then as United, United created about 3 chances within the first 5 to 10 minutes, but then as Barcelona gained possession and they started to do their attacking formation by changing to the 3-1-6 that I mentioned in the preview, you saw how dominant it was. They were passing in triangles, rectangles. They knew exactly where each and every one of their teammates were, and I just loved how you saw some of the players tracking back. Frankie de Jong looked amazing, and it just shows that why Erik ten Hag desired him so much in the summer. And you know what? I won't be surprised if we go for him in this summer as well, because he's a great player. as well. I'm just trying to think of other players. I mean, Lewandowski, he was just a constant threat throughout the entire game, but Luke Shaw playing at centre-back and Raphael Varane, they were both class tonight. Raphael Varane is a contender for my man of the match. He was just brilliant. Wan-Bissaka had a bit of a shaky game actually, but you know, it's a big occasion, and I don't think Wan-Bissaka has really played to a game of that calibre. I mean, he's played in big games, obviously in the Champions League and stuff, but realistically, in this season especially, that's probably been one of his biggest games that he's played this season, because I think Diego Dalot was the ones who played in the Manchester derbies and stuff. But yeah, who else we've got to talk about? I'll talk about some of the Barcelona players. Obviously, Rafinha, he looks dangerous throughout the match. He got the second goal. Yeah, was it Rafinha who got the goal? No, it was Lewandowski who got the goal. Who did Rafinha do? I think Rafinha just... Oh my God, I'm trying to think of Rafinha. I swear Rafinha scored, but there was a moment where he was proper dangerous, and I think it was a ball over the top, because that's the way Barcelona seemed to play. They liked to hit. They were hitting a lot of long balls and just cutting through the midfield from their defence or full backs or wing backs to the forwards, and they were kind of ignoring the midfield, because I think that they knew they were losing the midfield battle with Bruno Fernandes, Fred, and Casemiro, and realistically, that's going to be even tougher for them next Thursday when we've got Sabitzer back in the team and Martinez. So that's why I think United are going to win the game at Old Trafford, and United are going to progress through the Europa League. Because the likes of Gavi, he got another yellow card, and if you've watched the preview, I mentioned that if Gavi gets another yellow card, he then is suspended for the second leg. I mean, you saw his reaction when he had to pull back. I think it was Bruno Fernandes. He pulled him back because Bruno got away on the counter attack, and he had to pull him down. And then you saw the cameraman zoomed in on Gavi, and he was literally screaming because he knew that he was suspended, but he had to make that commitment, because otherwise United could have gone 3-1 up. So it's taking one for the team, really. So considering how young he is and he had to do that, I mean, you've got to give him props, really, because Gavi is a very good player, and he's one of the future stars, really, and he's just a brilliant player for Barcelona. Speaking of another great player for Barcelona is Pedri, who went off just before the end of the first half with an injury, and Xavi, the manager, has come out and said in the post-match press conference that he is out for 1 month. So that means that he will be missing the second leg at Old Trafford. And they've already got Sergio Busquets out, and they've already got Ousmane Dembele. So realistically, that's now 4 key injuries that Barcelona have got. So United are favourites, in my opinion, now. We've shown that even though we had suspensions with Martinez and Sabitzer in this game, we played very good. And considering that, like I said, we had limitations, United just exceeded everyone's expectations. I mean, I did say that the game would end 1-1, because I just felt like Barcelona would be more dominant, but I just felt United would have been solid enough defensively to not get battered, and we would have just been good enough to get a goal back, and we did, and we just exceeded that by going 2-1 up within 10 minutes. It was brilliant football, and the fact that Rashford, I mean, I think you've got to give Rashford man of the match. He was absolutely brilliant in that second half. He was the best player on the pitch in the second half. And I think it was just the first half, it took him a while to get going, because obviously he doesn't want to be running around wasting all his energy, because he knows that when his moment comes, he has to be clinical. And that goal was just absolutely, it was the chef's kiss. It was beautiful. I just can't speak enough about Marcus Rashford tonight. He was the best player on the pitch, in my opinion. So we're going to get into the player ratings. And yeah, I just want to say that David De Gea, for me, proved that why I think that he is one of the most controversial keepers we've ever had at Manchester United. Some fans love him, and some fans hate him. But when he plays like he did tonight, he is probably one of the best keepers in Europe. He was brilliant tonight. And with the goals, you can't really put him at fault. Realistically, it was poor defending from United's point of view. I mean, Fred on the first goal for Marcos Alonso, he just didn't even challenge him on the corner. Marcos Alonso just ran away from him and then just jumped. Fred just stayed on the ground, just pretty much just hugging him, and Marcos Alonso gets the goal, and that's 1-0. But United did well to attack. Within 10 minutes, we're 2-1 up, and we're just playing very good, progressive football. But then as 15 minutes go by, us passing it around the back, we get caught in possession, and Barcelona capitalise and make it 2-2 and get the equaliser. But realistically, we have to look at, we're done at the Camp Nou now. Now it's our turf. Now it's Old Trafford, and the Theatre of Dreams is going to be full of 75,000 Manchester United fans roaring. Barcelona are going to bottle it, and Manchester United are going to progress through the game. And obviously we have to go through Leicester now. That's our next game. But I can't wait. I'm just looking forward to the Leicester game to be over so we can get back and I can watch this second leg, because it's going to be brilliant. It's going to be box office, and I can't wait for it. Because realistically, these next 3 games are massive for our season. If we win against Leicester at weekend, we can be considered in the title challenge, or the title race, should I say. If we beat Barcelona, then we progress through for the Europa League and we go to the round of 16. And it's the Carabao Cup final on next Sunday. So our next 3 matches can really determine how our season goes. And over time will tell, but it's going to be a major week for Manchester United and Erik ten Hag, because this is our biggest test, I think, of the season. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, like I said, let's do the player ratings. David De Gea I've already spoke about. I'll give him a 7. I think that's generous considering he didn't get a clean sheet. But realistically, I felt like some of the saves he made against Lewandowski, he was brilliant, and I'll just give him a 7. I felt he played really, really well. Wan-Bissaka, you know what, I'm going to change De Gea to 7.5 because I don't want to give Aaron Wan-Bissaka an average 6. I'm going to give him a 6.5. I felt like he played a bit better than average performance, but I just didn't want it to be too close to De Gea, and I think De Gea played way better than Wan-Bissaka, so Wan-Bissaka gets a 6.5 for me. Rafael Varane, I think he gets an 8. Like I said, I think he was absolutely superb. I mean, he was brilliant. He kept Lewandowski at bay, and Lewandowski just never looked like a threat, but he just got that goal to the equaliser just because we got caught out in possession, and it was just us mucking about. Luke Shaw, I'll give a 7.5 to as well, like De Gea. I felt like, considering you're going against one of the best strikers in the world in Lewandowski, he played really, really well to be in a centre-half. I mean, Luke Shaw seems to be very comfortable at left centre-half. And yeah, I felt like he played really, really well. Malacia gets a 7. I felt like he wasn't better than Shaw, but I felt like he put up a shift. He did really well against Rafinha. And for considering we bought him from Feyenoord for 12 or 13 million, whatever it was in the summer, this kid has already pretty much, I'd say, doubled his price. He's easily worth 30 million already. He was brought in to be a second choice left back, and when we need him, he's pretty much spot on every single performance but he turns up when he needs to turn up. And Malacia for me is a very good player, and he was a bargain in the summer. Casemiro, I'll give him a 7.5 as well. I felt like he played really, really well. I think he was at fault for the second goal, like I've already said, so that's why I haven't given him an 8 like I have with Rafael Varane. But Casemiro, I love him to bits, and you can't, I do blame him for the goal because I think it was just his fault. I mean, obviously the possession, I don't know why we were passing it around near the goalkeeper and just mucking about. It didn't make any sense because you know Barcelona are going to be pressuring you. They want that second goal to get that equaliser. And I just don't know why we try to pass it around the back, because that's not what we do to build up in possession. We need to be, if we want to do that and just pass it and keep the ball, we need to be doing it in their half where it's safe. And if they somehow break on the counter-attack, then we can make a foul or something on the halfway line and just get a yellow card and stop the build-up play. Fred gets an average 6 for me today. I felt like that he just made way too many mistakes. I know we got a brilliant assist for Marcus Rashford, but for me that doesn't solidify how his poor performances and these inconsistent performances he's just been having all season. Like, I don't know how from the last game against Leeds, he was man of the match. He was voted man of the match on Sky Sports. And then tonight he performs a stinker like that. He's one of the most inconsistent players we've ever had at this club. And on his day, he's brilliant. He's brilliant. Like you saw it against Leeds, he was brilliant. But then you have games like tonight, you have games like the Old Trafford game for Leeds. He's so inconsistent. He has one good game, then 3 bad games. And is it time for Fred to go? I don't know. But realistically, we've got many, many games ahead, and Fred is going to be a key player for this season because obviously with the likes of Eriksson, Van der Beek being out pretty much till the end of the season, Scott McTominay is due to come back, but for me, I think Sabitzer just walks into that team when Casemiro's back in the Premier League, and that pivot of Fred and Sabitzer is over. I think Sabitzer walks straight in and becomes where Fred's been playing, and Casemiro's the more holding back midfielder. Bruno Fernandes, I'll give him a 7.5. I felt Bruno played really, really well. I felt Bruno was I felt like he was creating a lot of chances, and it was just unfortunate we didn't capitalise from it. So yeah, for me, Bruno Fernandes, he gets a 7.5. Jadon Sancho, it's good to have Jadon Sancho back. It is good to have Jadon Sancho back, but he doesn't seem to be firing at the moment. I mean, again, he didn't play the full 90 minutes again, so maybe he's just still getting back to full fitness. But yeah, I'll give Jadon Sancho a 7. I felt like he played okay. I mean, he should have scored that goal. I mean, he had plenty of time, and I just don't know why he shot first time on his left foot. I mean, I think it was in the second half, and I think it was when it was 1-1. And he just shoots and it goes completely off target to the left-hand side, and Araujo, the Barcelona centre-back, he gets down on pretty much on one knee to block the shot, and Jadon Sancho had plenty of time, but he hits it first time with his left foot. He seriously could have brought it down to his more preferred right foot and just pelted it in or curled it in or created a chance or something. I think he had plenty of time. Like, he had an easy 3 seconds, I think, extra to make a decision. And that's a long time in football when you've got a clinical one-on-one chance, really, with the goalkeeper, when obviously you've got a defender in front of you, but realistically, no one's really blocking your view on the other side. So I just felt like it was just a bit panic moment from Jadon Sancho, but I'm pretty sure the composure will increase. He'll get more, like I said, more composed as he gets back to full fitness and gets more match sharp. Wout Weghorst, it was another game for Wout Weghorst. He had a perfect chance in the first half where he should have scored it, but he just hits it straight at the keeper. I'll give him a 6.5. I don't think he was as bad as Fred, but I think he was on par with Wan-Bissaka. He played all right, but he should have scored it. And if he scores that, he becomes a hero, really, because if you score in first half against Barcelona at their stadium, then it just changes the game completely, and it just shows that, is he up for this level? I don't think so. He was brought in to be a squad player, and we're expecting way too much of him being this first team striker the way that we've been playing him. And finally, Marcus Rashford. I've got to give him a 9. And that's the highest I've actually ever given anyone on this channel. Marcus Rashford, I mean, I've already explained it in the video. He was absolutely brilliant. I just felt like he was the best player on the pitch, especially in the second half. And he looked dangerous in the first half as well. He was creating a few chances. He was interchanging with Sancho from the right to the left and just confusing the Barcelona defence. And I think he's going to have a field day on Saturday. I think he's going to get a brace. I just think he's going to be roaring. He's going to want to score. But we do need to remember that Marcus Rashford at some point is going to get a goal drought where he doesn't score in a game. And I just want to see the fans that like to turn on players like that, like they did with Garnacho, and just say, oh, Rashford's washed again, this and this, because realistically, he's probably going to be our player of the season. I mean, he is on par with Casemiro, but if we don't have Marcus Rashford in that team, where are our goals coming from? And that's a key question I need to ask the audience, because if you made it this far into the video, if we don't have Marcus Rashford in our squad, where are the goals coming from? Because for me, I can't look anywhere to see an actual dangerous out-and-out player who is hungry for goals. I mean, Garnacho's too young. Sancho's just coming back. And for me, Weghorst isn't up to this level. I mean, I think he's a good squad player, but for being a first-team striker for Manchester United, he isn't cut out for it. And as we know, Bruno Fernandes is an out-and-out goal scorer. And finally, we have Alejandro Garnacho. I'm going to give him a 7. I felt like... yeah, I'll give him a 7. I felt like he played well. I mean, he was only on for 10 minutes, but he made quite a few runs. He just didn't get any chances, really. And I mean, he helped keep Gavi at bay, because Gavi seemed to be marking Garnacho. But it was a good match, and realistically, I'm looking forward to Old Trafford. It's going to be a great game, but I think with the way we played tonight, Barcelona are going to be out of Europe next Thursday night. So yes, thank you for watching today's video. This is Red Devils TV. This has been your Manchester United versus Barcelona match reaction first leg. And yeah, thank you for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.